everybody and welcome back to Study with Julia. Today I'll be updating you guys on my home library once more because I did that roughly a year and 3 months ago. So I thought I could show you guys how it's developed because last time I did a little update. I had 75 books and now I have 109. So we have increased. Still not quite at the goal of 1,000 books yet, but 10.9% of the way through. Slow and steady, but we're moving forward. So let's dive in and see what I have. Okay, last time I didn't really have a method to the madness. This time, I like to think I do. They're all colour coordinated here. So you've got our reds, kind of orange, yellow and green here. And then on the other side, blue, purple, black and white. So it's definitely, these are just the random books that I couldn't fit on my other shelves. My favourite book from each colour. So for red, I'm going to say Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's more of a pink and less of a red, I'll be honest. But I really like this book. It was the first book that I've read kind of like that. I guess it's a biography about the band Daisy Jones and the Six, and it delves into their lives really as a band, growing up, getting famous and how that's affected them. Has some hard-hitting topics, for example, drugs and alcohol abuse, that type of thing. Now for my orange books, there's two very good ones. But I'm going to go for Four Seasons in Japan. This was such an amazing book. I mean, I really liked it. And it's also it's written in a very interesting way because it's about this translator that's not her overall job, but she's a translator. She can't find, she's lost all kind of motivation to translate more books. And then she notices someone reading a book on the train and they leave it behind. So she goes to look at it and it's kind of she's translating this book to you, but you get to read the book, and it's a beautiful story of a grandson and his grandmother in Japan. They're building their relationship, and I think it's really beautiful because of that. For my yellow book, it is a very easy choice, The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. Oh my goodness. At the beginning, I was like, is this a bit of me? Yes, it is. It is crazy. I like that it's basically about this family who starts kind of going bankrupt slowly. And I really enjoyed the fact that it delves into each of their points of view from this event. And I think it's really well shown because you've got the dad, the mom, the older sister, the younger brother, and each of them have this different way of thinking. Even for example for the mom, there's literally no punctuation because she's such a spontaneous just do type of person, and you really get to kind of know the characters. And there's so many plot twists, especially the last one. It did end on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I did have to consult the web to see what it meant. But once I kind of internalised that, I clocked what an amazing book this is, and I would recommend everyone to go read this. If there's one book you read in this video, read this one. But it is kind of long. I only have 2 green books. I'm going to say for my green book, Cat Lady by Dawn Porter. I've just read this one recently. I didn't enjoy it too great. No, I didn't dislike it, but it wasn't a 5-star read. That's what I mean. But no, it was pretty good. I mean, I think it was important. It was good how it kind of showed the relationship between pets and their owners, their humans, and how sometimes it's not underappreciated by others. But I have 2 dogs and I really love them, so I thought this was, this showed that relationship between a pet and its owner very well. It was a bit infuriating at moments, but if you choose to read this, then you'll see why. Right, our blue book. Gonna say this one. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I feel like I've spoken a lot about this book. And the more books I read, the more I realise that maybe this wasn't as great of a book as it was on the initial read. But then again, the moment you remember is always going to be your first read of a book. So, I mean, I feel like everyone's heard of this. Most people have read this. And I've talked about this plenty of times on my channel. But if I had to choose my favourite blue book that I have here, then it's going to be this one. For my purple book, Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm showing this because it's the only purple part. I really like this. I think it was really kind of fascinating to see Kunal and Marianne kind of how their dynamic, considering that she was the rich loner and he was perhaps more of a poor but popular guy, and the way that like their friends Kunal's friends tried to manipulate that relationship that they had. And I guess it kind of showed that like both of them had a pretty tough life, and you just can't prepare for that. But I love the fact that no matter what happened, they'd always try to, connect with each other, contact the other, and they remained friends through so many things. My black book. I have two tough choices, but I'm going to settle on Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is my annotated version from my GCSEs, but it's just a classic. I mean, it's just such a classic romance. Look at the traditional ideals. You compare and contrast how life is today. And, granted, I'm so happy that most of the things have changed from this book. But it's just nice to see, what a traditional kind of love story looks like. Okay, white books. This is our last colour. This was actually really tricky. I'm going to say The Best of Adam Sharp by Graham Simpson. But I haven't actually read this in quite a while. I might need to reread it. But I guess it's about this story of this man who kind of reconnects with his old lover. And then they go on holiday together and they start, kind of rekindling that flame. But there's a problem because he has a girlfriend and she has a husband. So they try to navigate that while also rediscovering that they might love each other still. There's a lot of musical imagery here as well. I think both of them really like music. But I might need to reread this to refresh my memory of what it actually is. These are my main shelves. Top 3 are filled with books. Mainly non-fiction, with the addition of Sherlock Holmes books. Then hardcovers, because my Sherlock Holmes books wouldn't fit here. And my paperbacks. And I have 2 spare ones just chilling here. Only one of them fits, so Pollyanna's going back. Up here there's a lot of, I guess this is mainly football and history up here. And then I guess this is like the mainly medicine sector. This is my classics collection, and this is a series. And these are just other hardbacks. And then these are just random books that couldn't fit here because I wanted them to be shown. And then my paperbacks. We've got one series, and then the second series kind of started. From my non-fiction books, which one was my favourite? I'm going to say Undoctored by Adam Kay. This is a really good book. I went to see his kind of comedy show about it. And not to flex, but yeah. But I guess, because I do want to be a doctor, this and This Is Going to Hurt are both very eye-opening books, but I feel like This Is Going to Hurt is so much more mainstream than this book is. And I guess it's also interesting to kind of see his life post-medicine, how he's navigating it. And also have those experiences from his time practicing medicine peppered in. There's some new chapters, there's some funny stories, sad stories. It's an emotional roller coaster. And I think this book really is just such a human experience to read and to see what goes on in a hospital through the eyes of a doctor, and kind of how they grapple with life after going away from their chosen career. For my hardcovers, this is a very tricky one. I'm going to say, oh, it's not focusing very well, but The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. It's not focusing very well because low-key this is kind of starting to rub off. It's a very hefty book. It showed the notion of injustice really well and kind of karma. It was really interesting. You know, olden times. And I think the story of The Count of Monte Cristo is just really inspiring. Going from, you know, being on top of the world to rock bottom to trying to climb back up there again. And I think there's lots of different rumours and things that really fuel this book and the society that the Count of Monte Cristo finds himself in post-imprisonment. I hope that's not a big spoiler. Is it? I don't know, but I really do love this book. It's very good. Alrighty, and last, I think I'm going to choose from my paperbacks this book, One Day by David Nichols. I think it's similar to Normal People in the way that I really enjoyed the relationships that these two characters try to continue as friends, navigate their way through friendship. As just young people, you know, they don't know what they want, but they know that they really appreciate and are grateful for the other person. And I think it's kind of, they both go down very different routes in life, but they still try to find time for each other, although it does get tricky. There's a little bit of substance abuse in this book. But yeah, I think kind of for similar, I wouldn't say it's a similar book to Normal People, but I would say that I liked it for similar reasons. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment anything you want, and subscribe if you did enjoy it. You can click the notification bell to be notified of any further videos that I post. And yeah, I will see you very soon. Bye bye.